This is Rich with God is Near. I wanted to talk a little bit about Jordan Peterson today. This is What Do You Mean? This guy is so great, man. He does such great videos right now, and he's just progressed over the years. And I just love him. And he's got this video here about Jordan Peterson, and he picks out a couple of little points, and then I want to further go into one of the points that he brings out here. So let's listen about whether, and he's talking about what, whenever pressed lately, Jordan Peterson hasn't responded and said that he was a Christian. So this podcaster is talking to him about whether he's a Christian or not, and kind of why he's not saying whether he's a Christian or not. So I think it's really good what they both point out, and then I'll follow up on that. This guy's gently asking him questions just for understanding, and I think it does a great job.
I'll deny you in front of my Father. Because you're denying them because they're trying to set you in a trap. But would you not have confidence?
I'm denying the questioner ownership over my tongue. I don't like having people put words in my mouth.
So what do you classify yourself as? Like, if Jesus came down right now, would you be his son? Or would you be somebody who's studying Jesus? Like, where does your heart lie right now? Who is your God? And I'm not trying to trap you or to be disrespectful. I just want to know where your heart lies, because the wisdom that you're pouring out into people is something that, dude, we promote it on our show. And we learn from it and we grow from it. So I just want to know who, because I see you as my mentor.
What do you think?
You're
watching?
I see you as, my perspective is that you are a God-fearing man. You're learning and you're taking what God gave you and you're teaching others. From your fruits, if I tasted them, I said, this is a righteous man that's after God's heart, like David. But then your mouth will say, who says that I'm a Christian? So it does confuse me as somebody who does watch you.
That's a good answer.
And then look at how long. So he says that's a good answer. So he's validated in the sense of, he's like, okay, I see he's not trying to trap me, and you do make a good point that I haven't said that I'm a Christian, and so I see it can be confusing. And then listen, I thought the video stopped. When watch how long that he pauses to really contemplate that, and that's part of what I really like about Peterson. He thinks about it deeply. Look how long he thinks about it, and he can't add to it. He's not even blinking right now. That's why I thought the video stopped. There. Finally blinked and moved.
I don't know how to add to that, to what you already said. I'm trying to find my way, and I'm communicating with people about that voyage as clearly as I possibly can.
Okay, so Jordan.
See, that's wonderful. And so he's gonna say some other stuff about it, and go a little deeper. I think he really hits on a good insight here.
Just voicing what a lot of people are wondering, which is, if you're already living like it, why not say it? But here's the question behind the question. Is Peterson dodging Jesus, or is he dodging pressure and premature finality? If it's the latter, it actually makes sense. Maybe he wants the freedom to search, to only speak when words feel true, or to let his life speak before his lips do. And if that's the case, then honestly, I get it, because I'm sure that I'm not the only one who's thought, if I'm a Christian and then mess up or doubt, then I'm a fraud. And
I think that he is seeing through the word and through thinking that he's seeing this perfection standard of God, and that I think, has placed an appropriate fear, awe, reverence of God in his heart. And so for him to say that he's a Christian, I think that might be difficult, because he's like, whoa, how can I achieve, how can I even say that I'm a reflection of that perfection when I'm way not? I'm totally not. So I think that his searching, I think his investigation has made an appropriate reverence and fear there of God, and that's what's hesitant related to say I'm a Christian, because maybe he's still seeking, but he's saying I'm way away from that perfection. I can't get there, so I don't want to act like, I don't want to say I'm a Christian and then act like I'm great or perfect or without flaw or without sin, because I'm totally not.
This is it. The deepest reason beneath them all. He's not afraid of backlash. He's afraid of dishonoring something sacred. Because to Peterson, calling yourself a Christian isn't a badge. It's a vow, a declaration of allegiance to moral perfection, one that he doesn't think he's living up to and maybe could never live up to. This is why in other interviews, when he talks about Jesus being a morally perfect example for us to imitate, he breaks down at the thought of Jesus actually existing in reality.
But the narrative and the objective world touch, and the ultimate example of that in principle is supposed to be Christ. But I don't know what to, that seems to me oddly plausible, but I still don't know what to make of it. It's too, partly because it's too terrifying a reality to fully believe. I don't even know what would happen to you if you fully believed it.
Now, once you understand this, then you know that this isn't about semantics. It's about a man being crushed under the weight of what it would mean to truly call himself a Christian. And you know what? He's actually not wrong to hold to this standard. In fact, technically, he's right. And that's why my recent conversation with him was so critical. So I've met Peterson a couple of times.
And this was great. This was fascinating that he had a conversation with him and then was able to share some insight, a perspective that he hadn't heard of from a Christian perspective, and that really made Peterson think.
In person now. And the last time, me and Ruslan KD had dinner with him and his wife. And during our conversation, we naturally started talking about faith, and he asked me about my journey and how I became a Christian. Eventually, we got to the part where I told him that the more that I internalized that I was saved by grace, a free and undeserved gift, the more that my life changed in drastic ways. Then he asked me, well, how does that work? And knowing that he had a background in psychology, I used AA as an example. I told him that although I don't understand it all of the way, one way to think about it is how people in AA often experience significant changes in their lives once they truly come to believe that they're unconditionally loved and accepted. There's something about that that gives them the strength to turn their lives around and to break free from strongholds. Now, of course, this isn't an equivalent to the gospel, but it's an imperfect way to try to grasp how being accepted by God due to God's grace changed everything for me. So after I gave him that analogy, he thought for a couple of seconds before he responded, and then he asked me a question that I could tell was burning in his mind. He said, then why do you do anything good? Meaning that if I believe that I was completely and utterly saved by God's grace, then what motivation do I have to live morally in the world? The implication behind his question is that the motivation to do good works is based on fear or merit. And if you remove that, then you naturally lose the motivation to do good things. And that's when I told him that before I understood grace, when I thought about going to heaven, any good deeds that I performed couldn't be actually good because at core, they had to be done out of a root of selfishness. In some ways, I thought if I did enough good things, then God would have to let me into heaven. And if I don't, then I go to hell. So fundamentally, the motive to do good works was ultimately selfish. And if I wanted to believe that I was going to be accepted by God, then I would have to convince myself that I was living a moral enough life to earn his acceptance. But then I came to learn that according to the gospel, I'm not saved based off of my good works, but only by the good works of Christ that he offered to me as a free and undeserved gift. The moment that I really understood and internalized that was when my motivation for doing good in the world radically changed, because I no longer did things out of duty or obligation, and I no longer did things because I had to. Instead, I did things because I got to, out of thankfulness rather than fear. And as I explained this to Peterson, he seemed to be taken aback, as if he's never heard that before, and he said it was interesting, and then brought it up later as he appeared to continue to process it more.
Isn't that great? You don't have to, that's a wonderful point that he makes. So you don't have to do things out of fear or think that good works will earn you the merit before God. When you approach a God that is perfect, realizing that we cannot make ourselves perfect, but that we have to trust in his finished work by shedding his blood, dying, on the cross, his resurrection from the dead. When we trust in him taking the substitute for our punishment that we rightly deserve because of our sin and rebellion against him, when we realize, hey, I can't do anything to make myself right. I can't make myself right before God. When we kind of realize that and we say, okay, God loves me. He gave me this gift. He opens it, his arms, he holds it out and says, it's a free gift for you to receive. And then we go, but I don't deserve it. I can't earn it. I can't pay you back for it. It's too costly. I can't take it. It's too much. Then we kind of start to see that unconditional love, that agape love from God. It is an otherworldly love, basically. He loves like no one else can. He gives us, he basically died, sent his son to die for us when we were still spitting on him. We were cursing at him. We were waiting in line to go and help nail the nails into his hands. And so when we truly think about love in a deep way that he so eloquently explained here, that grace, that unconditional love has deeply affected him. And when we think about that, then I think that that's a true motivation for trying to live differently and live freely.